All right, what's up, everyone? So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about three things that I do to get lean for the summer, but it doesn't have to be for the summer, getting lean for anything really. So, anytime I'm getting lean, I do these three things, and I'm going to go over them, give a high level overview, and yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. Firstly, just want to thank you for taking the time out of your day, for clicking on this video and watching this video. And actually, one more caveat, I'm not a nutritionist or health specialist, anything like that. These are just things I do when I want to get lean. So take them, take it as basically experience, and then, reach out to a professional for advice when you're building your own cutting plans and such. So, thing number one that I do is implement a proper cutting plan. Now, like I said, you might want to reach out to a professional when you're making like your whole diet plan and all of that. But I'll give you some basics that I do, which help me build a fairly strong cutting plan. Firstly, find your maintenance calories. This is fairly easy to do. I think a good metric is to take your body weight times 15. So, what I do when I'm trying to find my maintenance calories is say I weigh 160, I'll do 160 times 15, and then whatever number you get from that, that would be your maintenance calories. That's just a rough starting point, and then you can adjust it as you see if you're gaining weight or losing weight. So once you find your maintenance calories, you subtract 500 from that number, and that's going to be your cutting calories. So maintenance calories minus 500, that'll give you the cutting calories. That's the amount of calories you'll actually be eating during your cut, right? And next thing you want to focus on is the amount of protein intake. So protein is very important for muscle retention during the cut. So 1 gram protein per pound of body weight I find is fairly sufficient. And then refeeding once a week is very important as well. Now, I think there's no real consensus so far as to whether refeeds themselves have any benefit. There was evidence, I think, to show that they had benefit, but then there was arguments against it. So whether they have benefits or not, I think that's kind of up in the air. But one real important benefit, in my opinion, that they definitely have is they help you stay on your cut for longer. It's great for consistency because if you're doing a 3 month cut and you're not doing refeeds, you're going to be on low calories for all 3 months and you're not going to feel great. With a refeed once a week, it gives you the opportunity to have something to look forward to where you're going to be upping your calories. And for those who are not familiar with the refeed, just to briefly explain, a refeed is basically when you bump your calories up for the day to maintenance. So, say your maintenance calories are 2000 and your cutting calories are 1500. On the refeed day, you would bump your calories up to 2000 and be in that maintenance phase. So, again, I think it's great for consistency, and I would personally add it to a cutting plan. Now, thing number two that I do is ensure that I can fit fun foods into my diet. Now, with this, the basic principle that a lot of people tend to follow is the 80-20 principle. To explain what that is, basically means that in your diet, 80% of your calories come from nutritious, high quality foods, and then the last 20% will come from like more fun foods, right? That are not very nutritious, don't have a great macronutrient profile. Now, when I'm cutting, so what I do is when I'm bulking, I follow that 80-20 rule. When I'm cutting, I'm more so in the range of 85-15 or 90-10. And that's just because those foods that are, don't have a great macronutrient profile, they also tend to be very calorically dense. The following 80-20 can be a bit tough, right? Because that 20 will end up taking up a lot of the calories. So yeah, in a cut, I aim for about 85-15. And yeah, this is also great for long-term consistency. So then when you're going out, you can kind of, adjust your calories so you're able to eat out with your friends and then also, stay on track for your diet. So another thing that's great for consistency. And I would say for this, again, remember that calories are usually the most important thing, right? When you're trying to lose weight. So 80-20 is not a hard, fast rule. You need to find what is consistent for you. If 70, 30, 80, 90, 100, yeah, 30. Math is not great, right? So double checking. But if 70-30 is what is easier for you, I would argue that that's honestly much better than, going the other route, which a lot of people do, which is they eat healthy for like Monday to Friday, and then they go out on the weekend and they fall off track. So they're like, oh, I'm off track today anyway. I'm just gonna basically have a cheat day, and then they just eat junk food the whole day, and maybe even the next day. And if you were to like divide that up into their weekly calorie split, most likely it would be much worse than 70/30. So find what's consistent for you. I think that's more important than following some specific split that someone recommends. But generally 80/20 is a good rule, right? Because you do need a good macronutrient profile in your diet just for your day-to-day health and feeling better. So play around with it, find what's consistent for you. The next thing is following an intense training program. And that's the last tip I have. When you're cutting, sometimes people tend to take their foot off the gas pedal a little bit because they know they're going to have less energy, not as much, protein coming in, not as much, or actually protein should be the same, but not as much carbs coming in, it's not as much fat coming in. So they don't feel the same energy and they're like, okay, I should, relax a little bit so I don't overexert myself and such. And I agree with that for the most part, to be honest, because especially when you reach the end of your cuts, you're going to start to feel very, very tired and have way less energy. But I would argue that you can reduce your frequency. So if you were training 5 times a day when you were bulking or in the maintenance phase, in the cutting phase, you can cut that down to 4, maybe even 3. But keep the intensity of your workouts up. Don't go into the gym and half-ass your workouts, right? Keep that intensity up. Still lift heavy weight if you were doing more of that style of training. Try to keep your strength consistent, if not better. And regardless of what style of training you're doing, keep it intense and keep working hard. And yeah, you will be more tired in your cut, but again, I think don't use that as an excuse to reduce intensity. Keep that intensity up. And these are really the 3 tips that I have and the baseline of what I follow when I'm getting lean for the summer, right? And if we boil these down even further to what the 3 steps are, they're basically have your nutrition in check, have your workouts in check, and stay consistent. As long as you do this over a long enough period of time, you will reach your goal without a doubt. Now, some people will reach it quicker. That's where things like genetics and other factors will come into play. Some will reach it quicker, some will take a little bit longer, but I promise you, you will reach your goal. So follow these principles. Again, like I said, reach out to a professional as well. This is just my experience. But yeah, if you follow these simple principles, you will get to the physique that you are trying to achieve. And yeah, that's all I really have for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.